Hello everyone. Welcome to the class of Architectural Drawing and Reading. Next, we will learn the detailed drawings of stairwells and the steps of drawing. Stairwells are usually constructed using materials such as steel, wood, reinforced concrete, etc. The construction of stairwells is relatively complex, and detailed drawings of it are needed. The detailed drawings of stairwells mainly express the type of stairwell, structural form, dimensions of each part, and decoration methods, etc. Contents of the stairwell details. The stairwell details generally include stairwell plans, stairwell sections, and detailed drawings of tread, railings, handrails, and other nodes. The stairwell details are generally drawn at a scale of 1 to 30, 1 to 40, or 1 to 50. Stairwells can be divided into single-flight straight stairwells, double-flight parallel stairwells, spiral stairwells with a central column, spiral stairwells without a central column, as well as three-flight stairwells, scissor stairwells, etc. Stairwells are important vertical transportation facilities in buildings. People can reach every floor of the building through the stairwells. At the same time, they are also the life-saving passages for emergency evacuation when disasters occur. Therefore, students are requested to keep in mind that in addition to being beautiful, stairwells should also be sturdy and durable, safe from fire, and have sufficient passage width and evacuation capacity. Stairwell plan. The stairwell plan is a projection drawing obtained by using an imaginary cutting plane to cut along the horizontal direction at a position more than 1 meter above the ground and slightly exceeding the lower edge of the door and window openings, and then making a projection downward. Generally, the stairwell plan should be drawn layer by layer. If the stairwell construction, structure, and dimensions of the intermediate floors are the same, only the stairwell plans of the ground floor, the intermediate floor, and the top floor can be drawn. The stairwell case plan mainly expresses the opening width and depth dimensions of the stairwell case, the position of the stairwell case, the thickness of the wall, the layout of each flight of stairwells, platforms and handrails, the up and down directions of the stairwell case, as well as the length and width of the flight of stairwells, and the width of each tread. In the stairwell case plan, the flight of stairwells, cut through on each floor, is represented by a 45-degree broken line in the plan. At each flight of stairwells, draw a long arrow and mark with up or down, and the number of treads, indicating how many steps one can walk upward from the floor of this floor, or downward to reach the floor of the upper or lower floor. In the ground floor plan, the cutting position and projection direction of the stairwell case cutting plane view should also be noted. In the intermediate floor plan of the stairwell case, it is necessary to draw both the upward-going stairwell case that cut through and the complete downward-going flight of stairwells on this floor, the stairwell case landing, as well as the flight of stairwells below the landing. The projection of this part of the flight of stairwells coincides with that of the cut-through flight of stairwells, with the 45-degree broken line as the boundary. Mark the height of the upper floor and the number of stairwell case steps at the landing and the floor level on the top floor plan, because the cutting plane is above the safety railing. 2 complete flight of stairwells and stairwell platforms are drawn. In the drawing, at the stairwell-way entrance, there is only one long arrow, marked with down. The length of the flight of stairwells should be marked with the length of the horizontal projection, so it is usually represented by the number of treads multiplied by the tread width, as in the top floor plan. 8 multiplied by 280 equals 2240. But it should be noted that, because the tread of the top step of the flight of stairwells coincides with the platform surface or the floor surface, therefore, in the plan view, the number of treads in each flight of stairwells is always 1 less than the number of steps, that is, n-1, that is, the number of risers, is 1 more than the number of treads in the top floor plan. If the number of treads is 8, then the number of risers of this flight of stairwells is 9. Drawing stairwell case plan. Steps of construction. 1. Align the floor plans of each floor and draw the positioning axes according to the bay and depth of the stairwell. 2. Draw the thickness of the wall, the position lines of the door and window openings, and the opening lines of the door. 3. Draw the position lines such as the width of the stairwell platform, the length of the flight of stairwells, and the width of the stairwell. 4. Use the geometric construction method of dividing the distance between parallel lines equally. To draw the tread lines of the stairwell case, divide the length of the flight of stairwells into n-1 equal parts. Draw the treads. Note that the number of treads is n-1. N is the number of steps of the stairwell case, and draw the up and down arrow lines. 5th. Draw the stairwell. Pay attention to the differences in the ground floor plan, the standard floor plan, and the top floor plan. 6th. Check the draft and arrange the annotations, dimension annotation and elevation annotation. 7th. Thicken and darken the lines. Mark the cutting plane. Position symbols and names. 8th. Write all the texts on the drawing. To complete the whole drawing, it should be noted that the railing must be drawn at the top floor platform. Because it is the top floor, there is only a downward flight of stairwells and no upward flight of stairwells. At this time, the floor surface is at a height of 1 floor. From the lower flight of stairwells, it would be very dangerous without railings. Remember this. Don't think they are just 2 lines. What they represent in the drawing is safety. Safety is of utmost importance. Please, students, be sure to develop good drawing habits and a rigorous and meticulous learning attitude. Stairwell sectional drawing. Imagine using a vertical plane passing through a flight of stairwells and a door or window opening on each floor. To cut open the stairwell case and project it towards the other uncut flight of stairwells, the resulting sectional drawing is called the stairwell sectional drawing. The stairwell sectional drawing mainly shows the length and height of the flight of stairwells, the number and height of the treads, the structural form of the stairwell case, and the materials used. The construction of the house's ground, floor, landing, handrails, and walls, as well as the elevations, and detail reference symbols of each part of the stairwell case, as in the sectional drawing. The height of the ground floor flight of stairwells is 9 multiplied by 167, which is approximately equal to 1,500. When reading the stairwell sectional drawing, it should be compared with the stairwell, and attention should be paid to the position and projection direction of the cutting plane. When looking at the drawings together, the slope of the stairwell case alpha is less than 20 degrees is a ramp. 20 degrees is less than alpha is less than 45 degrees stairwell case. The most comfortable angle is 26 degrees 34 minutes. Alpha is greater than 45 degrees is a ladder. The slope of the stairwell case varies in buildings with different functions. For example, the slope of the stairwell case in a kindergarten should be smaller. For the empirical formula of stairwell treads, H represents the riser height, usually 150 mm. B represents the tread width, usually 300 mm. H plus B equals 450 /mm. 2H plus B equals 600 to 620 /mm. The height of stairwell railings and handrails is generally 900 mm, and at the platform, it is not less than 1000 mm. In special cases, such as in kindergartens, it is 600 to 700 mm. The headroom height of the stairwell case, the headroom height above and below the stairwell landing and in the aisle, should be not less than 2 meters to ensure the passage of people and the movement of furniture. The headroom height between the upper and lower flights of stairwell case is required to be not less than 2.2 meters. Treatment methods include adding a long run flight at the ground floor, partially lowering the floor level, having a long and short run flight at the ground floor, and partially lowering the floor level, having a straight run flight at the ground floor. Steps for drawing the draft of the stairwell sectional drawing. 1. According to the cutting plane symbols. In the ground floor plan of the stairwell case, draw the cut-through axes and the thickness of the walls and columns. 2. Based on the elevation, draw the indoor and outdoor ground lines, each floor surface, stair platforms, and their thicknesses. 3. Determine the position of the flight of stairwells according to the length of the stairwell case and the width of the platform. Divide the length of the flight of stairwells into n-1 equal parts. Divide the height of the flight of stairwells into n equal parts, and draw the outline of the inclined flight of stairwells, or the thickness of the stairwell, and the outline of the platform beam. For the treads of the flight of stairwells that are not cut, if they are visible, draw them with thin solid lines. If they are not visible, draw them with thin dashed lines. 4. Draw the details of doors and windows. 5. Draw the details such as steps, handrails. 6. Arrange the annotations, dimension annotations and elevation annotations, and check the draft. 7. Thicken and darken the lines according to the line types, and draw the legend symbols as required. 8. Complete the writing of all texts in the drawing. The above is all the content of this section. Thank you for your watching.